Okay, assalamu alaikum. Greetings of peace and good evening, everybody. Thank you for joining us. And you are at the Meet the Candidates event right now, and it is being brought to you by the Islamic Center of Naperville's School District Engagement Committee. And my name is Saima Shah, and I will be your moderator for today. And our committee's vision is that parents, students, and community members engage with local school districts to represent our community and advocate for our rights to culturally responsive education. And Muslim students are treated with equity and inclusion in the school system. And our mission statement is to advance ICN, the Islamic Center of Naperville community's vision of representation in the local school districts by increasing awareness and participation in the school district's diversity outreach programs. And then this district engagement committee is partners with the Naperville School District and Oswego School Districts. And we seek to develop partnership in an effort to ensure equity and inclusion within these environments. And if we truly want our voices to be heard, it is imperative that we step up as a community and reciprocate. And so in this regard, the School District Engagement Committee has hosted several events in the past couple of years similar to this one, and we will continue to do so in the future, God willing. So we will start the program with a recitation of the Holy Quran, and from chapter 4, Women, verse 36, Abdul Hadi will be reciting this for us. Abdul Hadi, if you can come on. He is a 6th grader from Murphy Junior High. And then we will hear the translation in English by Zahra Khan, who is a freshman at Oswego High School. So Hadi, you're on, and we're excited to see you. Ready?
Yeah.
Yes, please. Sorry about that. Go ahead.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم واعبدوا الله ولا تشركوا به شيئا وبالوالدين إحسانا وبذي القربى واليتامى والمساكين والجار ذي القربى والجار الجنب والصاحب بالجنب وابن السبيل وما ملكت أيمانكم إن الله لا يحب من كان مختالا فخورا.
Hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, Ms. Shaima, you can proceed.
Go ahead, Faryal.
Worship Allah and do not associate with Him anything, and be good to parents.
Can you not hear me? Go ahead, Faryal. Go ahead.
Worship Allah and do not associate with Him anything, and be good to parents and to kinsmen, and orphans and the needy, and the close neighbor, and the distant neighbor, and the companion at your side, and the wayfarer, and to those owned by you. Surely Allah does not like those who are arrogant proud.
Can you hear me?
I don't know what's happening.
Yes, Sister Saima, we can hear you.
Sorry about that. Of course, Murphy's Law. The internet is giving issues. Sorry about that. Okay, just thank you so much, Hadi and Faryal. Thank you so much. Oh, Okay. And then next I would like to call Sheikh Rizwan Ali to say a few words and welcome you all. And he is the resident scholar at Islamic Center of Naperville. Sheikh Rizwan.
All right, Jazakumullah khairan. Assalamu alaikum. May Allah's peace and blessings be upon all of you. Thank you to the ICN School District Engagement Committee for putting this program together. Thank you to the candidates for being here today, and thank you for all that are watching. Alhamdulillah, all praises due to God. Our religion emphasizes education. I want to share a prayer that the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, encouraged us to say every morning. One of the first things that we say in the morning after our early Fajr prayer, which is before sunrise, the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, taught us to say, Allahumma inni as'aluka ilman nafi'a, which translates to, Oh Allah, grant us beneficial knowledge. So it's very important for us to understand that beneficial knowledge is knowledge which will make us successful in all aspects of our lives, right? Physically, emotionally, mental health wise, educationally. So we want to be successful. We want the knowledge to be able to do that. You are the ones that are making sure that the education of our children will be beneficial and set them up to be respectful, curious, compassionate, successful, contributing members of society. Look at the statistics of what leads to. People have said that having adults that care about their well-being is the primary factor. You know, by you being here today and you watching and everyone who's participating in this program and people being open to dialogue and conversations shows that you care about the well-being of all of our children. You know, what happens in society has an impact. A few years ago, many of our students felt anxiety, stress, and were worried during the Muslim ban. But those same students, when we speak to them now, just a few days ago, I was talking to the same students, when they saw a Muslim woman in hijab, Samira Fazili, leading a press conference from the White House, their mindset changed and they realized that there are limitless possibilities and the potential that this great. The message we hope to our children is that education is of paramount importance. And people will come across people in life that are bigoted, that don't have our proper understanding, that may be Islamophobic. But we want to emphasize to our children that our children have adults that love them, that care for them, and see their success in our children being successful. I have no doubt that all of you here with us today share the same sentiments and values. Thank you again for being here today, and I pray that this program is successful and gets very beneficial for all of us and our community, and God guides us to whatever is most pleasing to Him. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Sheikh Rizwan. Thank you. Can you hear me?
You're welcome, sisters. Okay. Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, alhamdulillah. So yeah, I have like 3 gadgets on right now just because of the internet issue. So again, I apologize if I seem a little flustered. Thank you everybody again for joining. And then next up, I would like to call Maria Muzaffar, and she's part of the Illinois Civic Coalition. And she will take a couple of minutes to share with us some bills that they're working on right now. Thank you, Maria. The mic is yours.
Thank you. Thank you. You're not flustered at all. You're doing a great job. You're doing a great job. So thank you for welcoming me. Assalamu alaikum. Peace be unto you. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Real quick, am I able to share my screen, Saima?
Yes, I'll need to be the presenter.
Yeah, Ahmed is our tech guy.
Yeah.
Okay, so I've just opened up the screen now.
Oops, I think. Yeah. You can share now. I mean, are you able to share? I make you the presenter.
Okay, yep. So I'm just gonna share screen, and then we're gonna do this. All right. All right, can everyone see my screen? Can everyone see my screen?
No.
Not.
Okay, I'm gonna just talk through it. Is that okay? Okay. All right, so I'm gonna talk through it. So I'm gonna give you really quick the name of the organization that I'm speaking on behalf of. It's the Illinois Muslim Civic Coalition. So you can Google that. They have a website. And there are different areas that the Illinois Muslim Civic Coalition works on. And one is advocacy and policy. Since we are short on time, I'll talk about advocacy and policy. I serve as the director of advocacy and policy, and I have spent more than a decade writing legislations on various issues that I'm passionate about. And now I'm honored to play this role and have 4 legislations that we are introducing to the General Assembly that will impact students and families in Illinois. On behalf of the Illinois Muslim Civic Coalition. There's a couple of values that we use to make sure that our legislative initiatives fit in our scope. Most importantly is compassion and mercy. Why? Because it's entrenched in our tradition. So it should result in mercy and compassion for everybody that's impacted by it. Number 2, it should benefit students and populations and communities across the state. So not just the Muslim community, because we're an interdependent community. We all need each other, so we are out there for everybody. All right. So let me just go down, and I hope that you visit the website since I can't share my screen. But I'll introduce to you the first bill. The first bill is the contributions of Muslims in America and their history. Okay, in the curriculum. And so what that is it's an amendment to the school code that basically states that before the child reaches the 8th grade, students will be able to learn about the contributions of Muslims in America and their history and how long that they've been here in this country, and the contributions in general in many areas. We feel that this is a very important move to be able to create a global education for our students, to limit distance, right? And to open up a new world for students so they can understand one another. And we have them going from kindergarten all the way to the 8th grade. So community members, when you're a kindergartner, right? Like, who are the firemen? Who are the doctors? Who are the police officers? And then you go into Muslims in science and math and on the front lines and history and how diverse we are. The largest population of Muslim Americans in Illinois are African American, right? And they were here as long as when the slave ships were brought on. So we have a long entrenched relationship with the United States. And I think that is the most important thing that we highlight. The second bill is, and this is important for teachers, and I also want to state that we have a curriculum task force that's creating the curriculum. So teachers are not going to be left to not know what to teach. Everything will be accessible to everybody, and everything will be shared with county boards and superintendents and on websites at the Illinois State Board of Education as well. So it'll be very accessible to you. The second bill is the Cross-Cultural Mediation in Bullying Among Students Act. And what that is that it actually encourages students when there's a bullying incident and the violations involve a group that is identified in the Illinois Human Rights Act. That means race, religion, ethnicity, sexual orientation. If you are bullying another child in these categories, then as a student, you will know that this has gone to a higher level and it's not an acceptable social norm. And so now it's not just going to be detention and expulsion, because we don't feel students just learn that way. That doesn't build relationships. What we're actually doing is that we're providing a funding structure and a mandate that these students should go through mediation, where the bully is informed about how far he or she crossed the line, and the victim is empowered, and that builds relationship and understandings. What we want to do is we want to intervene early so these children don't grow up to be perpetrators of hate crimes. So that's the second bill. The third bill is the oath of office, which actually changes the oath of office and adds an amendment for all elected officials, and adds a sentence that says that we will honor the diversity of the great state of Illinois. So what we want to do is we want to be able to give dignity to the communities of Illinois. We don't want to limit freedom of speech. We want elected officials to say what they want, but we want them to be mindful who they're representing. Right? And this is a way to build a stronger relationship between community members and elected officials, obviously. And then the fourth bill, which is also included as a resolution, is the Muhammad Ali Day. Muhammad Ali Day, why? Because he's America's champ, right? So a commemorative holiday celebrating a Muslim American, and a commemorative holiday, as you all know, is not a holiday that you take off, but it's a day that you can talk about the attributes of great people. And so this is going to be on his birthday on January 17th. We also have a resolution that talks about all his attributes, right? Of how he was passionate, how he was a true patriot, how he stood up for justice, and of course, he was a proud Muslim American. Again, building understanding, building education, so children learn about one another. And then the last bill is the Inclusive Athletic Attire Act, and that allows students who are student athletes to be able to modify their sports uniforms and still play, whether it be cultural norms that they are changing their uniforms for, religious preferences, or just modesty preferences, right? And we had seen cases around the country where student athletes were penalized for not getting a waiver, even though they were excellent athletes. So we feel everyone should be able to play sports, everyone should be welcome, and we believe that school and these communities, especially school, are the one situation and environment where you get to be with people who are not like you. So if you don't build environments where you are welcome and accepted and you learn about each other, you're going to basically self-segregate in many ways. So we don't want that to happen. So those are our 5 initiatives. You can find them on our website. We have sponsors in the Senate and the House for all the bills, and we are continuing to speak with individuals at the city and county level as well. We know very well the role that classrooms and teachers play. And I would like to end this because we have a shortage of time and I can't share the website. I'm going to end by wrapping up the narrative of all these 5 bills, is that we are creating an initiative to rebuild what was attempted to be broken in the last 4 or 5 years. Okay, and so we're creating an environment where people feel welcome, where students feel welcome, where there's dignity, and following in, I would say, Mr. Rogers' example, making everyone feel like they belong. So yeah, that's everything from my end, and I'm excited to speak to you, and what a pleasure for me to be here tonight.
Thank you so much. We're really excited to hear what you had to tell us. Thank you so much. We're hoping that we can be partners. Thank you again. Thank you, Maria. And then, okay, so now we're going to move on to our awesome candidates. And I would like to quickly go over some housekeeping rules. We're going to have 4 rounds. The first round is going to be introductions, and that's going to be 3 minutes each. And then we will have 3 questions in round 2, 3, and 4. And then the first question is going to, and I'll repeat this as well as that time comes. It will be the first question will each of you will get 3 minutes, and for the last 2 questions, each of you will get 2 minutes each. And just so that it's clear, nobody got to see the questions beforehand. They're all a surprise for you, but hoping that you've heard these questions many times before and are an expert by now. And then we do request that you're very cognizant of the time, because we are very short on time. And again, so when there is a minute left, I will show you this. When there are 30 seconds left, I will show you this cue card. And when your time's up, I will show you this one, and hoping that you would have stopped by then. So again, thank you so much, everybody. So for the introductions, we're going to go in ascending order of alphabetical order, and I've used first names. And so for the first, you'll be getting 3 minutes. And actually, let me get my timer all set up. And let me quickly just tell you the order. So it will be Donna, Eugene, Eulalia, Jennifer, Katie, and Latanya for this one. And so 3 minutes each. And so Donna is up first. And Donna, the mic is yours.
Okay, can everybody hear me okay?
Yep.
Okay. Hi, everyone. I'm Dr. Donna Marino, and I'm a licensed clinical psychologist and a local small business owner. I have an executive coaching practice where I help executives master their leadership and communication and manage the stress of their job things like that. I'm also, of course, a mom, and I have two girls. They are in 8th grade and 10th grade, and they are a part of Latanya's diversity committee with the kids in school. So I'm running because probably about a year and a half ago is when I started thinking about it. Just honestly being really unhappy with what I was seeing in the world around me, and feeling like this is not the world I thought I was bringing my children into, and this is not good. And even though we have these, political and social justice conversations at home, and I think I did a good job with the girls. It just starts at home, and then you really got to bring it to the community. Otherwise, you're just always singing to the choir. And so we started getting more and more involved, especially around social justice. And then this fall, my 13-year-old came to me and said, "Mom, would you run for school board?" And she knew we had been talking about it before, and I just decided, why not? Why not? And as a psychologist, I just felt that this couldn't be more perfect timing as we're dealing with this pandemic and how it's impacted everyone. And I really saw, from my mental health perspective, I really saw this mental health crisis coming, and I wanted to be a part of the solution. I often say I'm really not running for myself. I just wanted to contribute my skill set, and it felt wrong not to. Right? I'm blessed with these gifts, and I'm not meant to keep them to myself. I'm meant to share them with others, and so that's kind of why I threw my hat in the ring. My platform is mental health matters, financial stability, and community building, because I really want to see the divisiveness go away and let everyone come back together to work together for what's right. So thank you.
Thank you so much. Right on the mark with 10 seconds to go. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you. Eugene, you're up next.
Wonderful. First of all, thank you so much. Had some technical issues, and so I'm so sorry for being late. But again, thank you for the opportunity. My name is Eugene Gatewood, and I have literally always wanted to be a teacher and an educator. And so my mom really instilled the, excuse me, the value of and the importance of education. She was a single teenage mom, and I learned a lot from her, and she modeled the way. And so my son is currently a student in the district. He's a sophomore, and we've been in the district since 2nd grade. And so my entire life has really been dedicated toward, serving kids and families. I've been a mentor. I've started and founded mentoring programs, tutoring programs. My first job was out of college was in social work for foster care. I've been a high school teacher, and I can go on and on about my resume, but my entire life, excuse me, has been dedicated to students. And students first is really what I believe I hang my hat on, because I think that is the most important thing. And we should be asking what's best for our students, and really making the efforts to benchmark against those standards of excellence so that we can create an environment and make decisions in our policies and our practices and our budgets and even the school culture and the community culture to make sure that it benefits all students. And if any policy, practice, or procedure disproportionately has a negative impact on any student, large or smaller subset, especially those who have been historically marginalized, then we have to do something to assess and determine an alternative. Because I believe all kids are not one-dimensional. They really have, they're really multifaceted. So we can't just look at them from an academic perspective, but social, emotional, speech and language, athletics, the arts, everything. So representation really does matter. And growing up in this district, or I should say my son growing up in this district, he has done well academically, but sometimes he struggled navigating the culture. And so I wanted to do my part to see what can I do in order to help him and other students like him. And so for me, I think culture over strategy. No matter how good of a culture we have to make sure that we function and understand that we are a community and we have to come together to assess and do what's needed in order to make a way forward. And I also believe that there's so many opportunities to develop an innovative strategy to help make sure that we're adjusting and preparing our kids for the world that is ever changing around us. We live in a diverse world and a diverse culture, and I believe that if our kids are one-sided and one has a unifocus, then it'll hinder them going forward. So I'm really here because and running for the school board because I believe that I am a new perspective for a better tomorrow.
Ooh, what am I? Okay, sorry about that. But thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Next up is Eulalia. Can you hear me? Okay. Yes, go ahead. The mic is yours, Eulalia.
Thank you. Thank you to everyone who's present here, and thank you for having me here. My name is Eulalia Valdez, and I live with my husband and my two children who are high school students at Oswego High School in Oswego. And we have lived in the community since 1999. I have been quite fortunate to have had multiple opportunities in different fields. I have been in the field of education now for a little bit over 15 years, most of which have been in school district leadership. And prior to that, I was in corporate America. I would be honored to be considered a candidate for the Oswego School Board of Education. I believe that I bring a variety of perspectives, one of them being a Mexican American, a parent, a teacher, a district administrator, a friend, and an Oswego resident for over 20 years. I believe I bring a deep perspective in the field of education because of the positions that I have held, from being a paraprofessional to being a teacher to being a building administrator to district level administration. I have a deep-rooted belief that together we can do better and we can accomplish any things that our head and our hearts believe in. I am running because I am committed to Oswego School District. I believe in our residents, I believe in our students, and like many of the candidates that have already shared their rationale, I want to focus my efforts and I want to commit and contribute to provide a better opportunity for what is most important, which is our children. And so ultimately, that is the reason that I am running. In my core, I believe that as a school district, we are a learning organization, and a learning organization that is at the service of the people that we serve. And so for me, some of the areas that I, because of the vocation that I have, that I believe in, I want you to think about is I am a learning leader. I am an action-oriented advocate for all. I am strategic and intentional in my stewardship, and I am people-centered. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you. You all are awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you. Next up, we have Jennifer. Jennifer, we don't see you. Are you able to turn on your camera?
I am not for some reason. I am really struggling with WebEx, so I do apologize.
Oh, no problem. No problem. Wish we could see you, but of course,
I know. I wish I
just
could
struggled
see.
with I struggled with tech. I had 3 devices on at the same time and right when we started, so completely understand. But please, the mic is yours.
Well, thank you so much for having me this evening. I really enjoyed your first couple of speakers. I'm here to listen and to gain knowledge and look outside my very myopic perspective in the world. So thank you for this evening. I've been an Oswego resident since 2008. My husband, Neil, and I have a son who is in third grade. Professionally, I have spent 21 years in advertising, marketing, and business development positions in the public and private sector. 7 years ago, I transitioned to education on the human resources side. I am an executive director of human resources in a large unit school district. I am a firm believer and advocate of lifelong education, whether that's via honing your own personal craft or trade or taking a plunge in an entirely new industry like I did 7 years ago. I believe strongly that education is the key to unlocking freedom, and every single student deserves that opportunity. And while they don't have a voice in the community at this point in time, it is our collective job to ensure that their voice is heard. I pursued my master's in human resources and with a second master's in executive leadership. Developing teams and people is at the crux of what I do. What I do professionally is what I would do if I was elected to the Board of Education, maximizing all assets and resources for the benefit of our organization, and specifically in this case, our students. Every single student, regardless of background, regardless of where they live, regardless of the color of their skin, deserves the opportunity to unlock that golden door of freedom, to receive the best education that we can give them with the dollars that we have available. Over the past few years, I have grown very frustrated with our district finances. I don't believe we are spending wisely. I will use my leverage, my relationships, and my knowledge and skills to make sure that we encourage the use of our dollars in the best way possible. I thank you for this opportunity to speak tonight and to share more of my thoughts.
Thank you so much, Jen.
I can't see you. I'm so sorry. Did I go over?
Oh, no, you didn't. So you can't see us either?
I cannot. I apologize.
Oh, I see. No, I thought your camera wasn't working, but I didn't realize you couldn't see us either. But no, you had about 30 seconds left. So, but
okay.
thank you so
Well, then I will humbly ask for everyone's vote, and trusting me is your decision, and proving you wrong will be my responsibility to earn your trust and through a vote and through my actions on the board. So thank you for this evening.
Thank you, Jennifer. Thank you. Perfect. And then we're going to go to Katie now. Katie, are you able to see us?
Yes, I'm able to see you guys, but I've had to log in 3 separate times because when I initiate my video, I can't hear anything anyone's saying. So I kind of feel bummed because I had visuals to show you guys this evening. So I do apologize that I'm not going to be able to show those visuals now.
Okay, but then if I do put up a card, you'll be able to see it.
Yeah, I'll know when my time's running out. Thank you so much for tonight's invitation.
Oh, our pleasure. Please, the mic is yours.
Okay, I wanted to introduce myself as Katie Hyden, proud resident of Oswego since 1999, and my husband 1987. And we are proud graduates from Oswego High School from class of 2005. I'm a proud woman in the construction industry and a small business owner of 6 generations of allied craft workers and precast specialists, a passionate advocate, motivational speaker, and fierce entrepreneur. A lot of people ask me all the time, why am I running? Back in 2019, our back journal had an issue that really spoke to me. And I actually had a visual to show you, and I can't. It's called Rebuild America's Schools. #Build Schools, Not Walls. For myself and our family, I was able to take that from 2 perspectives. Growing up, our ancestors and family faced many challenges and barriers that we had to overcome. Understanding that you can reach success to your own means with different forms of education. When we started getting involved with our schools and community, it was echoing some of the same experiences and feelings we had over 25 years ago as a student and a young adult. I realized in the upcoming months, despite my learning differences, that it was vital to get involved, advocating for different forms of education to be supported and celebrated to help students reach success in the workforce. Some of the other things that we also like to talk about is I get asked frequently on what's my approach? How would I address this? What's my platform? To me, there is no one answer of what's my number one thing. There is a multitude of issues. Everyone's role matters. It is key that everyone's unique skills are working together for the big picture. From my knowledge and experience, it's fundamental areas of student success, financials, infrastructure, which I still don't hear enough conversation going around about, and then programs. As a family with a fierce entrepreneur spirit and infrastructure knowledge, we learn that the 1, 2, 3s of creating self-sustaining businesses and programs. 1, how to generate revenue. 2, how to bring down and keep healthy liabilities. And 3, where to bridge gaps in operational costs that feed right back into number 1 and 2. I constantly get asked, what would I bring to the school board? What's different about me? I aspire to help bring my unique approach to our district to help aid in the 4 things I talked about with student success, financials, infrastructure, and programs. Me being transparent about our journey along the way is the key to understanding when you advocate for yourself in school and work that roles like this are attainable despite any learning differences. A student and adult may have. If you desire to serve in your community and nation, you can do it. Thank you. I'm sorry.
No problem. No problem. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
And last but not least, LaTanya.
Hello to everyone. I'm LaTanya Simulton. And I just want to say thank you to the ICN family for having me tonight. I've been to the center on several occasions and have also been a speaker at the center before. And so I just thank you for having us tonight. And I wanted to just start out by saying I've been a member of the District 308 family and community for 26 years. My husband, Michael, and my son, Miles, who's graduated from Oswego High School in 2013. I have been an employee of the district for the last 10 years. For the last 5 years, I have been the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Coordinator for the district. And my role is one in where I consult and educate and train and become a thought partner for our leadership and our staff as it relates to issues of equity and inclusion and diversity. And I think for me, I would describe myself as an advocate, a fierce advocate for student success, for a quality education for all students. And I think I come to that place because growing up, my parents grounded in me the idea that education is a promise, and that with that promise, I could do and be anything. And that message is seared in my heart. I believe it with all my being, and I want that for every student. And that's how I move, and that's how I have my being. And so when I think about what motivates me to do this, students motivate me. I believe that students are the earth's greatest resource, and to whom much is given, much is required of those entrusted with their care. I think I come to this perspective from many different ways, and I would approach being a board member in several ways. But I think I would, at this point, want to say that I would want to be a financial steward. And I think that I can be a successful financial steward because I come by this way of having a economics undergraduate degree. I have a master's degree in business administration. I was a vice president of a financial corporation in which I managed $30 million in my portfolio as a commercial lender. and then as a manager of a financial organization. And so I think that from my perspective, that would be one way that I could benefit the board and approach the board. Thank you.
Thank you so much, everybody. Great first round. Thank you. Welcome, everybody. Welcome again. So now for our first question, and each of you will get 3 minutes each, and we will go in the backwards order. So now it will be Latanya, Katie, Jennifer, Eulalia, Eugene, and then Donna. And our question is, how would you work on current school policies to ensure students from different race, ethnic, and religious backgrounds feel safe, included, and celebrated, especially along the lines of non-biased curriculum and diverse staff that reflects them?
Sure. So one of my priorities is safe and inclusive schools. And that means inclusive from an intellectual perspective, meaning that they have the freedom to be, to articulate themselves in the way in which they see themselves, to be culturally safe and inclusive, that they would have the ability to be in a room where they are recognized, where their ideas and thoughts are utilized. And so from a cultural standpoint, we will want to make sure that we are hearing them, we are hearing their voices. So from a policy perspective, I would want to make sure that our students had voice, that they're just not consumers of the decisions that adults are making for them, but that they are actually having opportunity to be a partner, to be a collaborator with them. From the standpoint of curriculum, students need to see themselves in the curriculum. They need to know that their stories matter, that their cultures matter, that their ideas and their knowledge bases matter, that it's not just the thoughts of the dominant culture that matter, but that everyone's culture matters. And so from a policy perspective, I would want to make sure that they had voice, and that the board, I would want to have the board have opportunity to have a town hall with students and have workshops with the students, because right now they're just hearing about the activities that they have. There needs to be more of a collaboration with the board and with more voices of students with the board. So a workshop would be something that I would want to engage in from a student perspective, so that the board gets to interact and engage with students, so that they have an opportunity to understand what it is that they want, what it is that they need, where are the issues that they need to address. And right now we are working, in my role, we are working on a change process by which students are driving the process. They are the leaders. They are identifying for us what they want to see, what change needs to happen. And then they are actually leading, and it's the adults who are collaborating with them and providing the tools for them to get there. And so that is something that we're very proud of. And we want to make sure that our students are leading and that they have the opportunity to say and call to action those from whom they want to call for change.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Latanya.
You're welcome.
Next up for the same question, we're going to have Katie.
Hello, thank you again for having me. I'm just going to kind of come at this from an innovative approach because I still find through our journey and what we're going through that this is still an area that I feel we all could use growth on and continue to educate ourselves about stigmas, diversity, equality. I believe that we should have continued discussions and education about this going into elementary, junior high high school. I like the idea about what Latanya said with workshops, but bridging off of some of the things that we've done in the past, I really love that idea of that open book thing that you guys did back when the Martin Luther King Day was going on. I think that is amazing to open students' eyes to, in junior high and high school. And if we could start creating assemblies with presentations, something along the lines of that open book and assembly and presentations to help educate our youth while they're still young about these stigmas, about the diversity, about the equality, because as we've all echoed, the sooner the better. So those are just some ideas of mine that I feel we could kind of bridge off of, working together as a team and collaborating. So that's really my short, simple answer. And I'm for change. We need to support difference of all different cultures, skin colors, learning differences, whether it's physical, mental, or emotional. Everyone who is different, which we're all different, we should be celebrating and supporting. And so I'm a firm advocate for that in youth education. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Next up, we have Jennifer. Jennifer, the mic's yours.
Thank you so very much. This is something that is very particular for me and important, and something that I've undertaken over the last couple of years. I work for and oversee a couple of schools that have the most diverse population in our district, and I continue to struggle with representing in our staff the embodiment of or excuse me, the reflection of our student body. I think it's really important, and something that I have determined that is my critical role to make sure that teachers reflect students. And it really requires thinking outside of the box when recruiting it, and getting to places and getting people to understand that education needs these different backgrounds in order to create innovation and dialogue and protect safe space for students to feel seen. So that's on the human resources side. From a board perspective, I think it's really important that we work with committees and with key relationships, both on a legislative level and in a local level, where we build with whether it's the village or the township or various key constituents, the opportunity to transform culture across these various areas, because those relationships and seeing people work together and seeing areas where we reach across and welcome each other, and we model that for our students, is really, really important. We need to hold policy making accountable for addressing issues of marginalization and discrimination when they happen. And I think the other thing that is most important at the board level is to create and protect space and time, I think, from an agenda level where there is critical discussion and there is an area for opportunity for celebration of students, and giving them that opportunity to celebrate the different things that are important to them and their culture, and protecting that at a board level.
Perfect. Thank you, Jennifer. Yeah, exactly. But 10 seconds left to go. So perfect. Thank you. Thank you very much. Next, we have Eulalia. The mic's yours. We can't hear you. You're muted. Eulalia, you're muted.
Thank you. Thank you. So to ensure that we have policies that are inclusive of all of those that we service, I believe that what is important to have in place is a strategic plan that recognizes that we need to listen to all sides, that all sides are represented, and that there is advocacy that is leading towards equitable access for all of our students that are represented in the community. I believe that in order for us to make informed decisions regarding what the needs are, there has to be a platform for all voices to be heard. So in terms of when we're servicing students, I believe that there is a need to have the student voice as part of the membership that is going to inform any of policies that are going to be impacted, that are going to impact them. And so what I envision is that when we take a look at really giving students populations a voice, I think that we need to take a look at the structures that are in place or not in place, who it's benefiting. And I believe that we have an opportunity to revisit the whole idea of what other districts are doing in terms of really giving the student a platform for policies, for guidelines, for decision making, and that is a seat at the table on the Board of Education. And so, when I take a look at that piece and being very strategic about us being a learning organization at the service of our students, our student voice is essential. And so, making sure that when we go ahead and we solicit the voices, that it's the voices of all of those that are going to be impacted, those that are going to be at the creation, idea formation, and then implementation aspect. So I believe that as we take a look at ensuring that we are inclusive of all, that we really do take a look at what is our plan to make sure that that happens. And so I advocate for making sure that all stakeholders have a voice. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Eugene, you're up next.
Perfect. Thank you so much. And so one of my key platform points, I have always been pushing for culture over strategy. Now, I do believe we need a strategy that will guide us forward, but I believe the beliefs and the norms within the district and the community, it has what perpetuated throughout history where we are currently, not only in our country, but in our district. And so I believe that there's a self-awareness that must take place. And that starts with honestly, the mental programming that is real, that has happened with the things that we believe is truth. And so I think that training and development for the board, the teachers, the administrators, and even down to the students will bring awareness to where we stand and even hopefully uncover some of the implicit bias that has been pervasive in the district as well as in our community. And I think that those implicit bias are really what causes the systematic policies and practices to continue to exist. And you can't confront and change something that you're not aware of. And so I believe that this new board has the opportunity to be a better reflection of our community, because representation truly does matter. And I think an equitable learning environment is designed to empower students intellectually, socially, emotionally, politically, and using race, linguistics, gender references, really to engage their learning to a greater capacity. And so I also believe that we're going to have to listen, like many of my colleagues have said, to our students and even to the community, because the world is different. We can no longer assume that we know what's right and even know what's best for our students. And so in order for us to impact change in a way or to implement change in a way that is truly impactful and meaningful, then we're going to have to get the data that's required. And some of that will be anecdotal. But once we receive that data, then we can use that to inform and to drive our decisions, to go down to the curriculum level, to ensure that the curriculum that they have is relevant and not based on an antiquated industrial revolution, than when it was basically formed back in those days. So I think that, once we have the information, we can then use that in order to make it relevant and real. And quite honestly, it may even make it more interesting for our students. And then at that point, they may even feel driven and motivated to engage in their learning process even more.
Thank you so much. Perfect timing. Let's have, again, last but not least, Donna, the mic is yours.
Thank you very much. And those are some hard acts to follow, I'll admit, but I really appreciated hearing everyone's perspective. So as part of my business, my executive coaching business, I also do DEI trainings for staff in different organizations, and I take it from a psychological perspective and understanding the trauma that is caused by racism, sexism, and helping others understand. I know this summer, our entire family read White Fragility, which I think is a book that should be used in schools. I think as a white person, we have a responsibility to use our privilege for good and to make change. I completely agree about changing our curriculum. We need to integrate the histories of African Americans, of Muslim Americans, Jewish, LGBTQ. We have to really look at all these populations and help them lift up. I completely agree about incorporating students in the process. And as I said before, my girls have been involved with Latanya talking about these issues. Our family, I'm even hesitating now, our family is Jewish. And I often don't say that in our community because I'm afraid. I'm afraid of the retaliation or what will happen. And just back in 2016, there were swastikas painted on the ground near our house. So I don't pretend that that is bigger in any way than other forms of discrimination, because I can hide, right? I can hide, but other people can't. And so I just really, I want to see more involvement. There are some good clubs going on. My daughter is part of Hate Free at OE. And we need more extracurricular support. We need more mental health support. We need to have an absolutely no tolerance policy in the school for any acts of hate. I don't think that expelling students is what is going to change. It's that education and conversation. And we need to have the hard conversations. We can't hide from them anymore. We have to get down to business and have those hard conversations. So I can't see the timer at all, so I have no idea.
Oh, perfect timing, actually. 5
There we
seconds to go. Thank you so much, everybody. Great answers, everybody. So for our next question, each of you will have 2 minutes. And this time we are going to go back to, actually, you know what? Let's do a little mix up. So the order this time will be Jennifer, Eulalia, Katie, Latanya, Donna, Eugene. And our question is, how will you work towards progress and healing post-pandemic? And this question will start off with Jennifer.
Thank you so much. Recently, it was one of my goals to make sure that our schools and our district had directors of social emotional health. And not just from a student perspective, but also from a staff perspective. We have a collective load of pandemic exhaustion happening in epic proportions within our youngest people, our learners, and with our educators. And it is so important to use our financial resources to put into place people and resources that can help not just our teachers and our students, but our administration and in the community at large, resources that we can go to help heal from this exhaustion, this pandemic exhaustion. Part of that pandemic exhaustion is that we are seeing just some ugliness in the world, and we're hearing these really loud voices on and different ends of the spectrum. I think the other thing that I can do personally is that I can use those relationship building skills, those critical friend skills, those critical conversation skills to open up dialogue. I think once we open up dialogue and we allow space, I think that, and kind of that again, reaching for out to another person, metaphorically speaking, is really important. I think right now it is so important to listen and to be aware of that self-awareness of what other people are going through and build capacity in our ability to heal and to get back to different ways of living in kind of a new normal, if you will.
Sorry to interrupt you, Jen. Time's up. Sorry.
Thank you. That's okay.
I didn't want to interrupt you when there was a minute or 30 seconds, because then your flow would have been disrupted.
Well, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
No, my pleasure. Thank you. Next is Eulalia.
Thank you. I think that we are all, living such unique times, right? And so I think that right now the urgency has really been to just kind of get through it, right? But I think that it's important for us to pause and to really listen. And what I mean by that is really listen to those that we are at service for, right? Collecting data such as surveys from the adults, from the students, as well as our families, and how that's being responded. The reason for that is because we need to be informed in terms of what decisions we're making. We need to know how the district leaders are actually living this pandemic, how that is impacting their ability to really be able to make decisions that are going to be decisions representative of the entire community that we service. And in order to do that, we have to take a look at what is it that our students, our custodians, our teachers, our administrators are experiencing, what are their needs, and really addressing the social emotional aspect of this very unique times that we are living. I believe that at this point, we have to take a look at what resources are available to us. And as we collect the data, have conversation and design how we're gonna go ahead and approach it, we need to make sure that we provide the equitable lens to these decisions.
Thank you so much, Eulalia.
Absolutely.
Next, we have Katie.
Hello, thank you again. As I've advocated before, as well with Donna, is that supporting social and emotional aspects for families and students is so important. I love her slogan that talks about how mental health matters, and that's really going to be critical moving forward as we keep phasing in to different, to the different structures of when the schedules come in, when we do get some normalcy back, when it comes to going back to school full time. I know I've had this conversation before, but also not enough. We talk about social and emotional aspects for families and students. I kind of want to open the conversation about mental health resources for teachers as well. If we kind of look at it just from taking a step back, they're the person in the middle, between the family and the student, and they have so much weight on their shoulders through this pandemic, having to constantly change and make sure that they're trying to keep everybody happy. So I hope that while we're supporting our families and our students with social and emotional, that we can also support our teachers too, because their mental health matters as well. I'd like to see us advocating a bit more for different supports and organizations throughout the community and reaching further than that. But I believe a lot of the people within our community and the different groups on social media platforms have done an amazing job to reaching out and getting that out there. I would like, if you guys kind of know a little bit about BIPS, it's called a Behavioral Individualized Plan. To me, when I think about all the students coming back, I kind of would think it would be nice to be mindful of an approach like that, because they've already been through so much since last March. And I think it would be imperative to kind of be able to take a step back, like how we do with the kids who have a bit, because socially and emotionally they've been through a lot. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Katie. Next, we have Latanya.
Thank you. So you talked about progress and healing. So when I think about it post-pandemic, I think about how the pandemic has exposed so many disparities as it relates to educating our students, and in many different areas, you know, whether it's socioeconomic or financial or medically. There are so many things that have been exposed, but then there are also the opportunities that it has exposed, and it shows how resilient we are and can be. And when you ask the question, the first thing I thought about was our teachers and our administrators, and how you know, when you fly, they say, you know, if you have small children, you know, if you need for them to be assisted, you first assist yourself, and then you assist your small child or your minor child. And so I think about what our teachers are needing, what our administrators are needing, and what our students are needing. And I think the word that comes to mind for me is grace. You know, more grace in our discourse, more of looking at opportunities for trauma and how our students have been traumatized, the learning loss that has occurred, the SEL that needs to be in place for all of our students, administrators, and teachers. And that will bring about the progress that we're looking for, but we have to address it. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Perfect. Thank you. Perfect timings. And then Donna, you're up next.
Okay. I think this question is so much connected to my reason for running, is that my skills as a psychologist can really be leveraged at this particular time as kids are facing this mental health crisis. When we return, I know there's a lot of feeling that, oh, just when we get back to 5 days a week and full-time days, this is going to cure our kids, but it's not. I think that the pandemic hasn't created more mental health issues, but that it's magnified them and magnified things that were already there. And it's really in our face now. Unfortunately, the suicide rates for adolescents are at an all-time high. One of the things that I would like to do is provide trauma-sensitive education to the staff. I would also like to make relationships with the local universities that do have social work and psychology programs where these students need clinical hours. They need to intern, and that would help us by bringing in more resources into the school, but it wouldn't cost us anything given our financial issues. So there are lots of things that I think we need to do to provide more support for our kids. And one of the ways I can help is that my degree was specifically in child and family and in trauma. And I've spent a lot of years working with kids with trauma, and I think I can help us navigate this healing that needs to happen.
Thank you so much, Donna. Eugene, you're up next. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. So this pandemic has actually impacted my family greatly. And without the support of our entire ecosystem, there was no way we would have ever made it. And so we must recognize that, you know, we have been in this thing together, and we must get out of it together. And every single person has a role to play. And I would just say we have to help them to understand how they can jump in, the entire community. This is honestly even why I'm running, is I just could not stand on the sideline. And so we have to be proactive and not reactive, because we can't react our way out of a crisis. We got to lead our way through and out of the crisis. So I think we have to create a strategy for proactive programs, policies, and practices, because sometimes people don't know how to move forward. And so my concern is that students and staff and administrators and teachers will become stuck in the pandemic even after it's over. And so we must help them and support them in a way that helps our students and staff and administrators like recognize how they've been impacted. And that's going to only happen through communication. And so I think that we're going to have times where we can communicate and help people in their time of need, so that we can understand what they need, and then we can support them accordingly.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Thank you. Okay, now to our final round and our last question for tonight. And then this time we'll go in ascending alphabetical order. So it'll be Donna, Eugene, Eulalia, Jennifer, Katie, and Latanya. And our question is, what are some of the measures you will take to advance equity among the special needs population, both academically and socially? So we'll start with Donna.
That's a great question. And I think part of it has to start with observing some of the classrooms and seeing what's going on at different levels, and how the children are learning, what the teachers are already doing and what they're not. Again, I think it's education. I mean, I really think that education is at the cornerstone of any society. And the more we are educated, the more we can innovate, the more we can grow, the more we can come together. And so I think that the equity education has to happen from the top down in order to be able to really apply these new policies and procedures. I did sit in on the DEI committee and was very impressed with what they were doing for writing new policy and procedure. And policy and procedure, though, is only as good as enforcement, how we enforce it. And so I think that taking an opportunity to observe the classes, taking an opportunity to survey the parents and the students and the teachers and find out where the gaps are that we need to fill. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. The same question for Eugene.
Okay. You know, as I think about this one, I'm not sure that it's 100% of a systematic approach, because we have to actually understand how, especially for special education, each child is actually being affected and impacted, and each child is different. And so you're going to have, in order to be intentional, in order to help them individually based on how they've been impacted, based on what their needs are, and based on the support that we actually have in the district. And my hope is really that we can even expand the support and the services that we actually offer, because I don't want us to get in a box and only offer to kids what we have available to us, because sometimes it may be an innovative approach they may pull this one kid out. And if we use a blanket approach for all students, especially again, those with special needs, then we could maybe not perhaps cause that student to be unsuccessful, but we may put them in a position where they're not able to maximize their abilities, and so that they're prepared for not only for the future, but academically and or vocationally, but also for the next grade levels, whether it's middle school or high school. And we don't want to lose any of our kids, no matter what age that they are. So I think that, again, we have to look at it individually and assess how we can impact them. And if there is a larger systematic policy or procedure that we can implement to ensure that no one group is disproportionately impacted, then we can implement that.
Thank you so much. Eulalia?
Thank you so much. So I'm going to take the interpretation of special populations, meaning that we have a wide spectrum of learners, from those that need a high level of support in, let's say, the academics, or high level of support in the area of social emotional, or high levels of support just navigating the American culture or like the cultural norms, to having those that excel in our educational system. So when I think about this question and think about, once again, that we are a learning organization serving individual people, I think that that's where we take the approach of making sure that we are collecting the data, assessing it, and ensuring that the plan that we put forth in place really is an equitable plan, meaning that that plan is fair and meets the needs of the person who is in need of it. Very much like Mr. Gatewood said earlier, there may be situations where we can go ahead and have one common plan, and it will meet the needs of our student population. And then there are situations where really, no, we have to take a look at the individual's child. What are the individual needs? And then what are the resources that are accessible to us? And when the resources are not resources that are really going to be equitable, then we need to go back and take a look at assessing what the need is, and taking a look at individualizing what the resource is to meet that need. So listening, advocating for equity, and making informed decisions to meet the diverse needs of the wide range of students that we have. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Next up, we have Jennifer with the same question.
Thank you so much. You know, it's interesting on a board level what we're actually able to, how we're able to affect that. And it's really important that we understand what we can affect, where we can make the greatest change or the greatest or have the greatest advocacy. I think it's most important that as a board, we identify barriers and obstacles to opportunity, and continue to encourage the leadership of the school and the teachers to eliminate disparities for our student outcomes. I think that's so incredibly important. I think we also need to model the behavior that we cannot lower our expectations for our students. We have to create the same level of expectation for all of our students. We need to hold each other accountable at the board level and pivot to an ability mindset from a disability mindset. I think that's just so important for all of us. We need a strong commitment as a group to racial equity. One of the things that I'm very grateful for is that I have had many, many conversations with a few of the candidates that join us here tonight, Latanya, Eulalia, and Eugene. They have opened up their stories to me, their personal stories, their professional stories, and it's really, really important to understand that and make sure that you have ideas that are similar. We can have ideas that are different, but when it comes to racial equity, it needs to be incredibly important. And I know that Dr. Marino feels that way as well. You can't just have these statements and these policies, you have to live them.
Thank you so much, Jennifer. Thank you.
Thank you.
And then Latanya, you're up next.
Yes, thank you. So when I think about my philosophy on special needs, I think about it in an equitable way that every student is a student first. And then they have needs in which we address, whether it's, whatever those needs are for each and every individual student, we address them. So when I think about equity as it relates to special needs, it's the same thing that we would want for every student, that they are represented of the learning system, that they have access to it, that they can participate in meaningful ways, and that the results are positive outcomes for every student. And I think that's the philosophy that we need to approach individuals with special needs, that it's just that, special needs. I think it's important for us to make sure that we allow every student to benefit from every student. So these separations that happen within some of the programs, we need to take a look at that and making sure that we are treating our those students just as we would any other student. So when it comes to IEPs and 504s and the disparities that exist in many different areas of that population, I want to address it. Are we okay with how we're educating those students? And then I think lastly, one of the things that's important is that the funding of these systems or of these programs, we light our hair on fire sometimes because they're expensive, but we have to fund them, and we need to fund them because that's what they need. That's what equity is, making sure they get that they can benefit from the system as well.
Thank you so much, Latanya. I think, Katie, did I skip you?
Yes, you did, but it's
I'm so
okay.
sorry.
I'd still love to speak.
Yes, please, absolutely. You're up. Thank you. Last but not least, awesome.
All right,
Thank
you. And to be honest, I have to be very transparent with my answer after the experiences of my family and friends and different people I know in the community have gone through, working with different BCBAs, ABA therapy, special educators. This isn't something that's just on an SD308 level. This is on a federal level. If we want to help implement a new program or a curriculum or have more options and resources for students with learning differences. I really like the word learning differences instead of learning disabilities, because disability is referring to that you cannot. Differences are you can through different forms of education. I'm a firm believer that there are 4 different types of learning styles. I would like it if the general public or people involved could go and look up the VARC model on the internet. I'm a firm believer that there's a lot of data out there to support that in public education. And also, if you could take the time and it shows how half the student body learns differently, go on the academic progress part of the Illinois report card, look up our ELA scores, look up our SAT scores. It's been continuously rising since 2017 to 2019 from 52, 56 to then 58% of students that are partially meeting or approaching these goals. They are not meeting or exceeding. Those are huge numbers, people. Take 58%, take 57, 56, 52 from your student enrollment That's at 17,632, and you'll get your number. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for being so patient and patiently waiting for each other. Thank you so much. And again, I would like to, so before we close, how would you like to give your contact information to the people if they have any questions? How can they reach you? So I'm trying to, let me just quickly go in order, and then you can take, 10 seconds or 5 seconds to just tell the audience how they can reach you if they have any specific questions. So let's just go with descending alphabetical order. And that was Latanya.
Yes. So I can be reached on Facebook at LSABC123, or my email is lsimelton, SIMELTON 5@gmail.com.
Thank you. Katie?
I too can be reached on Facebook. You can look up Katie Hyden at Advocating for Learning Differences, or you can reach me via email, katie4district308@yahoo.com. Thank you again for tonight's invite.
Our pleasure. Jennifer?
Hi, thank you. I can be reached at JENJOHNSO8. Hold on, I'm sorry. Let's try that again. I'm getting a little tired. JENJOHNSONSD308@gmail.com. And I would love for everyone to follow me on Facebook at JENJOHNSONFORSD308. Thank you so much for everyone's time on this Friday night, and I look forward to opening a dialogue with anyone that would like to join my page. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Eulalia?
Yes, I can be reached at Eulalia, EULALIA 2021, Valdez, VALDEZ @gmail.com. Thank you, everyone, for having me here tonight. I appreciate your time.
Eugene?
Thank you so much. I can be reached on Facebook as well, and it's Gatewood4308. So Gatewood, GATEWOOD, and FOR, and then 308. Or I can be reached by email at eugene@originalmentor.org.
Thank you so much. Donna?
So I can be found on Facebook. It's Elect Donna Marino. And I have a website with the same Elect Donna Marino. And then my email is electdonnamarino@gmail.com. And I just wanted to say that on my social media page on Facebook, every Monday, I release a new mental health video to help parents navigate with their kids and to provide some education.
Thank you so much. And I know that some of you were typing in the message, but I don't know how that's going to transfer onto the YouTube live. And so that's why I had all of you say it out loud too. And they can always go back and watch the recording again. It's going to be on YouTube. So they can write it down as they hear the recording. And then just wanted to, a disclaimer that we as a committee did try to reach all the candidates, but unfortunately we weren't successful with all of you. So again, our apologies, but we did do our best to try and find you all on different social media. So this is the best we could do. So again, my apologies. Again, I would like to close this event by thanking all the candidates for giving us their time and allowing us the opportunity to hear their voice, their views, and their plans for our school district. Again, thank you very much. We wish you all the best. And again, we look forward to working with you in various other forms as well. And then I would like to really thank all the audience, and we hope that you benefited from this program and will make an educated decision while casting your votes. Thank you again, everybody, and have a great evening.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good night, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.